The trip starts at Lee's Ferry, just below Glen Canyon Dam. Georgie's made this trip more than 100 times, and with a practiced eye, she's on the lookout for any last-minute problems. She and her boatman have already spent a couple of days here, pumping up boats and packing supplies. Their passengers are just minutes away.
Georgie, hello! Where'd you get that crazy hat? Oh, good to see you. I understand.
Some have been down with her before. Others are getting their first introduction to the legendary Georgie, woman of the river. She's been running the Grand Canyon since the late 1940s and probably knows more about the river than anyone else. In the next 7 days, we'll float 180 miles through fierce rapids, sheer canyon walls, and tranquil bends in the river. We'll see some of the roughest whitewater and the most beautiful scenery America has to offer. Georgie is one of a handful of concessionaires licensed by the Park Service to float passengers through the Grand Canyon. Each operates a bit differently. Some use motors, some don't. Some take large groups, others prefer smaller ones. Some treat you to gourmet meals. Others, like Georgie, remind you that you're here for a wilderness adventure, not lavish dining. A lot of folks ended this trip 10 pounds lighter. But Georgie's boatmen are one of the more distinguishing features of her trip. They show up year after year, trip after trip, work long, hard hours, and all for no pay.
There's nothing I can do, that replaces this. I start missing it as soon as I get off the river and start planning for the first trip the next time, for the next season.
I think whether we admit it or not, I think that most of us come back for the whitewater.
I think it's the challenge. It's the challenge of the rapids. It's doing something. It isn't the everyday thing that you do at home. It's just something completely different, and I enjoy doing it.
Many of Georgie's boatmen are off-duty Los Angeles firemen. They are in good shape, have first aid training, and are used to taking orders. Georgie runs a tight ship. They don't call her mother for nothing.
Well, I am mother to them. I heckle them and beat them, but they still all love me, I think.
Are they surrogate sons?
They're real faithful to me. We fight and battle, but you let anybody interfere or say anything to me, and boy, they're right there. Ah, there we are.
Mother believes in getting off to an early start. That's her wake-up call. It's 5:30 a.m. We'll be back on the river by 7. Today, the canyon walls narrow, compressing the river. The current picks up speed. The rapids come fast and furious. They start to frighten even the hardiest among us.
You're looking for the tongue, you're looking for the rocks, you're looking for the walls, where you're going to go after you run through the rapid.
We'll never forget the name of that one. It's Crystal, a number 10. Rapids are rated from number 1, the easiest, to number 10, the hardest. There's one more 10 on this trip, Lava Falls, but it's still days away. All along on this trip we've seen boatmen. And here you are, the one person who probably knows more about the Grand Canyon than anyone. Why no boat women?
There haven't been that many interested, actually. I think there are different women that would be all right, but they have to concentrate on the river. The trouble with women is that they always let sex or marriage come first instead of work. And if you want to succeed at anything, then it's second, and what you're doing is first.
And
so sex and marriage comes third for all of you, right?
I'm interested in sex or marriage,
Relation class.
Yeah, but men put it first in the work, and then the marriage second comes in when they get the work done. But women don't.
See, Brad's never been married and we're divorced, right?
The river running season in the Grand Canyon lasts 3 months. These men accrue all the vacation time they can and spend it here. A lot of river wives have learned to vacation alone. A chance to relax and play. This is Elves Chasm, a short hike from the river and a welcome change from the muddy Colorado. We'll make one more side trip to Havasu Creek. It's a stream that feeds into the river from Indian lands in Arizona.
And you got to stay out of this big tongue in the middle, because if you go down it, it's going to take you right off the big drop here.
All right.
The last major rapid, Lava Falls. Harvey and Ron spent half an hour looking at it, planning how best to get through it. The passengers look at it and try to swallow their fear. They've made it through all the others, but each new rapid poses a challenge of its own. Georgie and her big boat are the first to go. They're aiming straight for the hole. Buoyed by the successful run, Harvey and crew bring their small boats around. They'll take lava on the other side, steering clear of the huge hole. Success, met with feelings of exhilaration and relief. But our trip down the Grand Canyon is almost over. Tomorrow, helicopters will fly us out from a small rocky pad a mile downriver. Little do we realize, though, that one more ordeal lies ahead.
Okay, now listen. We want to know that at least you have some idea of who you've been. So we'll start right to first. Remember, you don't answer unless I tap you on the head. Okay.
This is euphemistically called initiation. We are all about to become Georgie's royal river rats, but it won't be easy. She quizzes us on where we've been, what we've seen and done. The cold water dulls our memories.
Silence! Now, as you know, when you come down the Grand Canyon, you know by now it's not a tour, it's not a yacht trip. This is an experience. So now everything, in order to enjoy everything as you go through life, our motto as river rats is everything is just the way you like it. So now when you go through life, let's practice this theme. So now if you agree, when I tap you, say I do. How about you? No!
We did.